Today, we are going to build an arsenal for speed dominant bowlers. These are going to be those bowlers where your speed outmatches your rev rate. These are going to be the bowling balls you want to look towards when you're purchasing your new one and how you want your arsenal to look for the future to give you the best chances of success. If you're new here, make sure to drop a subscription. It's the best way to help the channel out, and then I can keep making videos like this one. Also, if you need any bowling chamois, we do have ZVL bowling chamois down below in the description, courtesy of DH Lab. Shout out to those guys. They are some awesome chamois. These are really, really thick and durable chamois so far, so highly recommend. They're about $24 after shipping and handling. But let's start talking about a speed dominant bowling arsenal. So to start, let's talk about what a speed dominant bowler is. A speed dominant bowler is exactly what the name suggests. It's someone where their speed dominates over their rev rate. I'm going to have a chart on the screen right now that showcases a little bit of what it means to be balanced, speed dominant, or rev dominant. If you're someone who has problems getting a bowling ball to hook no matter what it is, if you're someone who tends to always want to play straighter or has to play straighter on the lane, this is going to be the video for you. I should preface, this arsenal is also going to be both league and tournament bowling arsenals. This isn't going to really lean one way or the other. This is going to be a generic, overarching 6-ball arsenal using our main categories. Well, let's start it off. First and foremost, this is going to be a very important ball for you. It's going to be the strong and smooth bowling ball, the strongest ball that you have. And here you can get as strong as you want for a bowling ball. Because you're more speed dominant, you need the bowling ball to slow down. What that means is you want that bowling ball to hook early. So you need to use a little bit of surface. You need to use those bigger cores and bigger covers to get the ball to want to slow down and hook so that it doesn't just never hook. Some bowling balls that you can put in this category from the main companies are going to be the Storm Ion Max is going to be the best option from them. The Brunswick Mesmerize is going to be the best option from them. And then the Motive Jackal Onyx is going to be the best motive ball to pick. These are some of the earliest hooking bowling balls on the market. These are going to give you your best chances of success if you're speed dominant to actually be able to get a ball to hook when there's a lot of oil or when you want to play a little bit further left. Second ball I recommend is a strong and sharp bowling ball. This is going to be a strong asymmetrical pearl that's going to still hook for you, but hook a little bit later than your big, strong, solid bowling ball. This is going to be one that you can go to with a little more pop down lane, a little bit more angle, and it's going to be able to help you get those corners out when your big, strong, smooth bowling balls are just coming in a little bit too flat. A couple options for these bowling balls are going to be the Origin from 900 Global. This is my personal favorite on the list. If you're someone who's speed dominant or even a little closer to balanced, this ball is going to give you more hook than you can see out of a lot of shiny balls on the market. This is a fantastic speed dominant bowling ball. If you're rev dominant, it's not as useful, but speed dominant, this is going to be a goat for you. Now, if you're a Brunswick fan, you can look towards a Brunswick Hypnotize can be a great option. Otherwise, the Hammer Effect can be another really good option. These are going to be ones that get a little further down lane, but still are super strong core, super strong cover, still are going to hook for you. If you're a Motive fan, I'm just going to go the Evoke Hysteria. This is their best strong and sharp bowling ball, just by a mile. So even though there are a couple others in this category, I think the Evoke Hysteria is going to be the top dog. Now, the next category we're going to is where it strays off the beaten path a little bit. This is going to be a medium and smooth bowling ball. However, this is going to be the stronger end of it. There's really no good wording for this, but it's going to be the strong, medium, and smooth bowling balls or the weak, strong, and smooth bowling balls. The reason that we say this is because you are going to still want bowling balls that hook. If you need that strong, you need a symmetrical bowling ball, those weaker symmetrical bowling balls aren't going to be great for you on the fresh or the early transition. However, the balls that I mentioned are going to be a lot better for it. These are going to help you either continue to play straight when there's a lot of oil or be able to get a little bit left and have a little bit more shape on the back end compared to what you have in that strong and smooth category. This is really going to be your benchmark bowling ball, the middle of your arsenal. So you can have stuff above it and below it. So you can start with this bowling ball in league or a tournament. You can see what the ball reaction is and then change your reaction accordingly. So some of my favorite options right now on the market for Storm are going to be things like the Phase 2 or else the brand new Origin EX is actually going to be a really good speed dominant bowling ball. Similar to its hybrid counterpart, this one has a really strong core, but also a fairly weak cover stock. This is kind of that little mismatch that we always like to see, and that's going to be good for speed dominant bowlers. Now, if you're a Brunswick fan, a couple options here are going to be the stealth mode. The track stealth mode is going to be an amazing choice for a speed dominant bowler. If you want to go asymmetrical, you could go with an effect tour. The effect tour can work really well too here. Very, very strong asymmetrical bowling ball, but it has that weaker core and weaker cover. So it's strong for the medium category, weak for the strong category. If you're a Motive fan, best option I can give you here is the Lethal Venom. The Lethal Venom is going to be a great option, really strong, weaker asymmetrical core, stronger cover on it. That's going to be able to fight through a little bit of that oil, give you a little bit of shape down lane. Now, in that category, you can jump up to that strong and smooth category. You can go with things like that old Rotogrip XL. You can go with like a Black Widow 3.0 as your secondary. That's totally okay. That is very much an option for you. But it depends on how speed dominant you are or if you're closer to balanced. But let's get into the next category. Our fourth category, similar to our last category, is going to be a medium and sharp ball, but it's going to be on the stronger end of it or on the weaker end of your strong and sharp category. This is going to be a ball that you go to after your big asymmetrical pearl is hooking too much, or you want to get even further left and be able to wheel the lane just a little bit. This is going to be a big, stronger core bowling ball because those weaker core bowling balls might not look great for you unless you're bowling on a ton of friction. Now, we're going to talk about if you're bowling on a ton of friction in just a minute, but I would recommend something stronger here. Some options from the various companies. From Storm is going to be either the Zen 25 or the Attention Star. One or the other, they're going to be some of the stronger pearl balls that aren't that top of the top like the Origin. These are going to be steps down from that Origin. I like the Zen here best for someone who's speed dominant, but the Attention Star can give you a lot more kick down lane, a lot more angle once you see that end of the pattern. The Zen's going to be a lot smoother in that category. Now, if you're a Brunswick fan, one of my favorites here is actually the Vaporize. The Vaporize is a strong and sharp bowling ball, but it's on the weaker end, so I think that would fit really well here. Still asymmetrical, gets down lane pretty well, a little bit more angle down lane, but I see this as a really good like step and a half down from those really strong asymmetrical pearls. This can be something you use on the burn a little bit more than you would expect an asymmetrical to be used for. Now, Motive, they don't have many options here. This is actually a hole that they have in their ball catalog right now. I'm just going to go the Primal Rage Evolution. Not the greatest option. I think it's a little too clean for a speed dominant bowler, but it can be a good choice yet. One other option, which is very unique, is a shiny Pride Liberty. If you polish your Pride Liberty, that could also fit here. Stronger core, stronger cover. But if you just want that angle, go with a Primal Rage. All right, the next category up is usually the weak and smooth category. We're going to keep the wording as that, but this is going to be the really strong weak and smooth balls or the really weak medium and smooth balls. These are going to be the bottom of your bag for smooth equipment. If you're bowling on a lot of friction or you want to keep playing straighter, but the front part of the lane is wearing down a little bit too much, this can be a good option to go to because it's going to be smoother, but be able to get through some of that garbage in the first part of the lane. From every company, for Storm, I like to go with the IQ Tour here. I think it's still the GOAT no matter what kind of bowler you are. It's not going to be as usable for a speed dominant bowler compared to rev dominant, but it can still be used just from a little bit straighter. You just can't use much angle on it. Now, if you're a Brunswick fan, this is a really good spot for the Troublemaker Solid. That's a weaker core, weaker cover solid that's going to be able to stay a little bit straighter. Now, other options here are like an Arctic Vibe, but I think that's a little too weak. So I think Troublemaker Solid is going to be a good option here. If you're a Motive fan, this is the perfect spot for your Venom Shock. The Venom Shock is usually a medium smooth bowling ball, but if you're someone who has that higher speed compared to your revs, that Venom Shock can definitely fit in that weak part of your bag where it's going to get through the fronts a little bit better, be super smooth down lane. It's going to do what the GOAT does at the end of the day. And finally, just like our last category, this is still going to be the weak and sharp category, but the stronger bowling balls on the list. You are going to want to avoid your hustles. You're going to want to avoid the vibes. You're going to want to avoid those really low-end bowling balls. They just aren't really useful in this category. These are going to be the lowest bowling balls you go to. Personally, as someone who's a little more speed dominant, I don't think you're ever really going to touch this part of the bag. It's a good thing to have in case of emergency. Personally, I keep an IQ Ruby at all times, just in case I run into a situation where I need that super weak bowling ball. Usually that only happens if the lanes are completely toasted, absolutely fried out of their minds, or you're bowling on wood. If neither of these generally happens to you, especially in a league night, you can skip this category. You can put your urethane here. I don't recommend urethane for speed dominant bowlers that often, but otherwise your plastic ball can go here and it'll look really good, or put another stronger bowling ball. But let's go through the three bowling ball brands. For Storm Bowling, what I recommend here is a Road Warrior. The Road Warrior is still going to be early enough where it's usable, but I think some of the other weaker bowling balls like a Typhoon just aren't going to be useful in the slightest. So I think a Road Warrior is here. It's also one of the better pearls on the market right now. Really good ball. Then from Brunswick, it's a little bit tougher. I'm actually going to put the Piranha Power Core Pearl. This is a ball that's been flying under the radar a little bit more. I was not a fan of it when it got announced because I really don't like the throwback series, but the ball is pretty good and it is much weaker than you'd expect. Another ball that could go here is the Crown Victory. The Crown Victory might be a little too weak for you. That's why I want to go with the Piranha Power Core. And then finally, from Motive, I'd recommend the Hyper Venom. The Hyper Venom is going to be a little stronger than those Max Thrills. I think the Max Thrills are really strong, but I don't know if they're strong enough for a speed dominant bowler. If you do want the Max Thrills, I'd recommend the Hybrid here over the Pearl. I think that's going to give you a little more shape and hook a little bit earlier for you. Then some tips for speed dominant bowlers. Number one, surface is your friend. I recommend 1000 to 2000 grit on a lot of your solids to be able to get them to hook. Your big thing is you're going to have a problem getting a ball to hook. So the best way to do that is add some surface. Then you'll be good to go. And then just understand the difference between all of your different categories, what you want to start with in league, what you want to go to. What I recommend, start with that medium/strong smooth category, those stronger symmetrical or weaker asymmetricals. Then if those aren't hooking enough, go up to your big strong smooth balls. If they're hooking too much, go over to a shiny category and then work your way through there. Straighter angles are going to be your best friend if you're speed dominant. Remember that. Wheeling the lane isn't going to be your forte. So try to stay a little bit straighter. You should be able to pump up those scores. Otherwise, I really, really hope this helps. We're going to have a rev dominant video coming out very soon as well for the other side of the aisle for these. Otherwise, I want to thank you guys so much for watching and for all of the support over the last couple of months. I really appreciate it. It means an absolute ton. If you have any questions about this, I'm live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So set an alarm. I hope to see you there. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video.